Hello and welcome. I'm a little off center, aren't I? Oh well, we'll have to deal with it. How's everybody doing? So, has all of the chatter around the foldable phone thing made you a little curious? I have to admit, from the beginning, I thought that this was not going to last as long as it has. But at this point now, I'm curious. So let's unbox the Google Pixel Pro Fold and see what we think. I've never had my hands on one before. I have not watched any of the reviews of this. I want to come into this as clean as possible. So let's see what we've got going on. Hello and welcome. Yes, so here we are. We're going to be talking about the Google Pixel Pro Fold. So those of you who've been around for a while, you know I'm a Pixel girl. Now, to be fair, right, to start back from the beginning, I moved from Samsung to the Google Pixel. And for the most part, I've been very, very happy with it. The reason I did it is because I needed to move to Google Fi for many, many reasons, but the important one being I needed better coverage that I was getting in areas that I was spending more time in. So here on the East Coast, it's very regionalized, and I didn't really want to have multiple phones for different locations. So Google Fi solved that problem for me in spades. Like it rocked it. I've been very, 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 very happy with Google Fi. If you'd like a recommendation, I can send you a link. But the one thing I do miss is the the Samsung Note devices, right? So other than that, I've been very, very happy with these. Now, I am also a fan of bigger phones, right? So I have tried the smaller, like ones, but I always go back to the big phones because this for me is not really a phone. Like it's a portable computer that happens to make phone calls. But given my choice, I would not be on the phone. So that is just to give you the parameters and perspective of why I'm going to be saying the things I might be saying. So yeah, I'm a fan of the big phones. I use this as a computer. I beat the heck out of these things. And I'm always amazed at how much I can get out of them. That said, I also have a tablet for tablet things. I have Chromebook for Chromebook things, and then I have laptops and regular desktop computers. So I definitely use different computers for different things depending on what it is I'm working on. And also, you may have noticed, right? So I was just talking about styluses, and I am a stylus person. So I don't use a mouse. I use the Wacom tablet on everything. I have these everywhere. With that context, we are now going to take a look at the Google Pixel Pro. So this is the new phone from them. Normally, I do the Star Trek thing, right? So I only buy phones for the even versions, right? So this is the 8, and I really was not planning on getting a 9. But at this point in time, like, I have to get my hands on a full device to understand why people are still talking about this and why this is moving forward. Because I have to admit upfront, like, I'm really not clear on what the beneficial use case is for it. Because, right, and so that's the thing, tech, right? So it is a second generation. I purposely waited for the second generation because the first generation I had absolutely no interest in. I was like I was not going to spend that kind of money to be a beta tester for them, just for anybody. I just had no interest in those early foldable phones. I was like, whatever is going to come from this foldable approach to life is going to need some time to get worked out. And at this point, there are enough vendors doing it, and there have been enough different versions of it that I feel like, okay, maybe it's time to test drive it and give it a fair evaluation, right? Because it's not early days right now. There's been a couple versions of it. So we're going to take this. I have not done anything other than open the box to make sure that that's what this was, because I have a couple orders coming in of different things. I wanted to make sure if I was going to do this show, I wanted to be unboxing the right thing. So we're going to switch to the other camera, which I did not test, but there we go. Okay. So now this is my webcam, so I do apologize. The quality is not going to be quite as good. But the first thing I noticed, like I said, I did open it just to make sure that it was what I thought it was. The first thing I noticed, let me get these out of here. Here, Murphy, you want to place some paper? My dog is more like a cat than anything. So the first thing I noticed is that this is a very plain, generic box. There is one piece of writing. Oh, okay. So, because usually when you get stuff from the Google store, and that's where I ordered mine from, there's like little things here. Okay, so there is some text here about out with the old, use this box to recycle. Google store at the bottom there. but not the cute little funny sayings that you usually see. So it's a very relatively generic box from them. That doesn't really matter for most people, but it's just something I noticed. Okay, so here we are. I ordered the 512 version of it, so it's the bigger one. But yeah, so this is straight from Google. Now, I do have links in the description. You can buy it other places. So I gave you an Amazon link if you want to use that. If you do, just know I get a couple of pennies for it. No cost to you because I'm an affiliate. And also the Google Store. It is available, obviously, because it's shipping, unlike the Google Chrome replacement, which I'm still waiting on. So this is what we've got here. So interesting. I'm expecting when I open it that it's going to be unfolded from the size of the box, because I should have brought the other box in. But normally the box is more representative of the size of the device. So usually when I get my phones, it's this color. Wow, that's really orangey. Sorry about that. All right, let's see what we got. So we got, our basic information on here. Okay, we got the pull strips. Right. So yeah, nothing. Just a little damage. Okay. Where are you? You're here. I don't know if you can see that, but the box is a little damaged. This piece is flipped up here, but I don't think it's going to have any impact on the phone. All right. So this says we pull this way. Guess I got my razor blade out for no reason. Okay. Let's see what that's all about. Okay, that just releases the sleeve, I'm guessing. Okay, yep, that's it. Yep. So they're definitely pushing the whole, hey, look how big it is. And again, for context, this is my Pixel 8. Sorry, dog hair. So basically, I guess you're getting two phones is the way to look at it. It's not really two phones, but I'm trying to find a way to justify the price, because it is pricey. It is a pricey device. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Tech. Like, I'm approaching this from the standpoint of, should I care? And if not, I have no problem sending it back, because I'm not having any problems with my 8. This was an impulse purchase because I'm nosy. So we have this. Okay, I mean, they do a nice job of packaging without making it, like, overly packaged. Okay, so this is the phone. We've got your cable here. It is USB-C, USB-C on both ends. Guessing this is the paperwork and propaganda. Let me take a look. Okay, so we've got our pin. We'll have a collection of those at this point. And, oh, a little book. Isn't that cute? Okay, so there we go. We've got all the stuff you would expect. What do we got here? Okay, so it's telling me power is and volume are on the side where the camera is. It's got a SIM card holder. Interesting, because my 8 does not. It has a virtual SIM. It does not have a real SIM. Okay. So here, well, I think it helps a little bit if I put it on something to raise it up a bit. Okay, so let's see what happens. Did they give it a power brick? No, there's no power brick. Hang on, I'm missing some comments here, so let me get caught up here. Yeah, well, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be... All right, let me just answer a few of these comments here. So the reason for the backstory, I know usually you don't do that on an unboxing, but the reason I'm doing that is because I'm coming into this from not a negative point of view, but from a I don't really think I need this or want this point of view. So I want to be upfront about that, because I don't know like what's going to happen when I start to play with it. Yeah, so yeah, tech... Yeah, we share the tech impulse problem, right? I do prefer the real SIM cards too. So if this really does have a SIM card in it, that will make me happy, because I like being able to physically move them. Whoops, sorry, wrong. That's not it. That one. Nope, that's not it either. Well, that's okay, but this is what we need. This is what we need right now. Okay, so I'm gonna undo this. Do we have more? They like those little tearaway strips, but I guess, oh look, so here they're actually showing you on the paper. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this, but let me try. Tilt it maybe? Okay, so it's showing me, before I take the paper off, this is the power and the fingerprint reader, which we'll have a whole other show about, but basically don't use those. Your volume up and down, power, and I guess that's for connecting it to putting it on a stand. That'll be interesting. I'll have to test it to see if it'll work with the stand that I have for the 8. Maybe if I bring this down a little bit now that we're not in the box. And if I lose the topic, that might help. Yeah, I'm a little surprised that they shipped it unfolded too. Yeah, that's yeah, I had the same thought. That's funny. Actually, we do that a lot. Okay, so let's peel this carefully. Oh, I'm trying to do this careful because in my mind, in this moment, there's an 80% chance I'm sending this back. But it's tearing itself, so there's nothing I can do about that. Okay, of course I've got the dark one, but they do have a lighter colored one. Okay, wow, no piece of plastic on the screen for shipping? That's weird. Okay, so right away I can see the fold line. I don't know if that's going to come through on camera, but I can see the fold line right through there, which I think is one of the things that's going to bother me. Okay, I'm really nervous about doing that. Okay, so I got it folded. So the way, in case you haven't seen these, so it's got a screen on the front so that you don't have to open it every single time. Got your cameras on the back, and then you're only going to open it, when you want the full screen. So I'm going to start it this way. I'm surprised that there's no instructions, but okay. Let's power it up and see what happens. So button, all the stuff at the bottom that you would expect to see. There we go. Okay, let's see what happens. I apologize for the reflection. That's the one thing about doing these unboxings. Here, I'll change the angle a little bit, see if that helps. I don't have overhead lights on, but I do have my ring lights on, and so we do constantly battle some level of reflection when we're doing these kinds of things. Okay, so you do see it. Okay. Well, we're just waiting for it to boot. So, so Tech agrees with me on the dark colored ones, okay? You can see the fold line too, okay. It's sturdy. It's certainly heavier than my phone. Here, we can do a side-by-side. So, size-wise, this has got the case on it. So my other phone with the regular case, it's a little bit bigger, but probably if I put a case on it, if I do keep it, it'll probably be exactly the same height as my 8. Oops. Yep. It's definitely bulkier, but yeah, okay, so this is just, we'll go back to that in a second, but here, this is just another aside. I'm okay with a bigger phone. Like, I don't understand this obsession with, the phones have to be paper thin. No, I don't need my phone to be paper thin. I need it to be sturdy and handle day-to-day life. So I'm okay with the fact that this feels a little bulkier. It's, obviously going to be heavier, but it's essentially the size of 2 phones that you're carrying. And as somebody who carries a work and a personal phone, there is that, reality, and I'm fine with that. Let's go back here. Okay, so we're going to go through this. I'll do as much of the setup on air here as I can. The curve for the screen is pretty big. The curve here, yeah. Is that comparable to? Yeah, I guess it is more of a curve than I guess it's okay. I'm not really doing anything here. I've got this on for backup. But doing this to Twitch with everything else that I'm doing is new. But yeah, I guess that is a more pronounced curve. Now this is just the front screen. So we'll see what happens when we go to the other side. But I'm going to just treat this screen like the phone for now, and we'll see how we're doing. Set up using another device. To copy settings, accounts, keep it nearby and locked. No, I don't. I see. I didn't think this through. I don't know whether Tech like the display on the single screen. Yeah, I usually start fresh. Yeah, that's I was just gonna say, Tech. What do you think? Should we start fresh, or should I go ahead and treat this like it was going to be my daily driver, even though it's not? And you're like, start fresh. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do too. I think that's a good way to go for this. Interesting. So your options are from a Pixel or other Android device or iPhone or iPad. So at least I don't know if you can see that. Those are the options that you get. Wow, getting a lot of reflection on this. Okay, so let's keep going. Maybe that's too much. It's like, if there's this, like, I'm sure there's this perfect angle where, like, you wouldn't get all of that, but, okay, so that, yeah, I need to, next year, I need to invest in a better overhead phone or an overhead camera because the webcam's really not cutting it. Okay, but we're going to skip this. We're going to keep going here. I don't know. Let me come back here because I don't know how much of my information is going to come up on that screen. So we're going to block that. Check to see what a stock Google expects. Yeah, especially for testing. Yeah, no, that's a good point. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and connect this. So I put my password in, so you're going to have to wait a second. I don't even remember. I think it's... I have to remember what my password is. Okay, looks like it's connecting. All right, so we can go back to the overhead. And it's setting up. I wonder if I can do something like that. Maybe that's better. The question is, do I have something that'll raise it up like that? Maybe these batteries put it at a good height. Let's see. Yeah, that might be a little bit better as far as the glare goes. All right, checking info. Tech. I usually go for stock on new devices, so I get what the manufacturer intended and see what I want to personalize. Yeah, I kind of go back and forth. It depends on my mood at the time. Okay, so it wants my Google account, so we're gonna come back here. We'll go ahead and put. I wonder. I actually have multiples, but since if I'm gonna test this fully, I'm gonna use Fi, so I need to use that account. Okay. More passwords. Right. Yes, I did. As soon as the personal stuff goes away, I can switch back to the overhead. There we go. Okay, so multiple. I've got the tablet in front of me, and I've got my phone. Everything's like, "Are you trying to sign into something?" Yes, it's me. Let's say yes, it's me over here. So I can get the text message. Keep your account updated with this phone's number if you like. With this phone number, control. No, I don't want to transfer. Ah. I wish it would warn you before it starts flashing your own information. Okay, we're saying yes. Set up eSIM or insert a SIM card now. No, we're not going to do either of those right now. Skip this, you won't be able to connect to a network. That's okay. Set a pin. Okay, hang on a second. We're coming back here. Let's do passcode on this. So I'm going to just try it. Sorry, one sec. So I'm going to try it first with just Wi-Fi connecting. Because again, I don't know if I'm going to keep this phone. If I am going to like try to use it as a real phone, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a second Google Fi account. I realize it's going to cost me a little bit of money, but I don't want to give up my daily driver. Like, I don't want to screw up my main phone. So I'm going to I'll set up a temporary number for a while and then I'll go. Okay, so we can come back here. So it's asking me to do fingerprints. I don't do fingerprints. They're not as secure as people lead you to believe. Same for face unlock. I don't recommend doing that. Copying apps and data. Let's do that later. Yeah, I know. We'll do that later. Idiots. Okay. Let's not use location services. Allow scanning for Wi-Fi. That's okay. I'm not really interested in giving you data today. All right. Oh, again, I mean, it's just my email address, but still. Yeah, whatever. Sure, go ahead. Back it up. Limited warranty. Okay. Sure, whatever. Nobody reads these things. Next. legal terms, whatever. I have to say, okay, this is an aside. This is not what we're talking about here, but yeah, they do like the email being everywhere, right? I'm not a fan so far of the Google AI being on the phone instead of the normal assistant, but it's not giving me the way to say no. So I kind of think that's what they're going to force us into. I don't really want this. It's not working as well. Hey, boy, a lot of selling here. A lot of selling. No, it's not going in the car. No, I don't want contacts to find me. Anything else? No. Let's just get into the phone, please. All right, we'll see how this goes. It's a pretty generic setup. Yeah, this is very much like the normal setup for everything. Okay, so learn gestures, go home, back, whatever. Swipe to navigate. Yeah, whatever. Try it if you insist. Swipe up from the bottom. Great job. Yeah, thanks. I really needed the pat on the back for that. Swipe from the left or right edge to the middle of the screen. Okay, big deal. None of this is new. Switch apps. Swipe up from the bottom and hold and release. Yes, we're aware of this. Not my first time with a Pixel device. Okay. You're ready to start using your device. Okay. Okay. Well, I like that background. They made good color choices there. So we've got our new device. What's it saying up here? Okay, it desperately wants me to connect my other phone, but I'm not going to do that. Let's take a look at the tips. Tips for other devices. No customization, camera, the essentials. I'm just looking to see if there's anything that's specific to the Fold, and I'm not seeing anything specific to the Fold. So I guess that's basically it. So this, I mean, just on its own, it's just a phone, right? It's a chonky phone, but it's just a phone in this state. So now let's open it up and see what this looks like. Let's see. Tech. You set up your phone pretty close to how I do it. Most of the time it's like, fuck you, why? Exactly. It's probably in the settings. Yeah, it is. In the feature settings. Yeah, well, let's just see what happens when we open it. I just want to see, like, what's the clean experience? Okay, so instead of having to, like, swipe to get to the two screens, I've got both screens, because this only has two screens at the moment, right? There's three. Okay. So, okay, yeah, it's bigger. I'll give you that. Okay, it's downloading something, so I guess it's getting updates or basic apps. But, yeah. Okay, so tech, you got anything in particular you want to test? What does Google now look like? Is it more informative? Yeah, I mean, it's not really, like, it doesn't tell us anything different. I'm trying to think of what's safe to open. Really nothing. How about we go to Chrome? Slow swipe up to show the taskbar. Oh, no, we have to be slow about things. Here we go again. Jeez Louise. I mean, again, it's not like my email address isn't everywhere in the world. No, we're not going to sync right now. Enhance privacy in Chrome. This is just all basic Chrome stuff. Okay. So, okay, yeah, I mean, it's... What do we want to go look at? Trying to think of something generic to go look at. I prefer Firefox. Yeah, no, I would load other browsers on here. I keep Chrome because that's the default for Google stuff, and also I need to do a lot of testing, and corporate America uses it a lot. Let me try to get this straight again. Sorry. But yeah, I use Firefox developer version, which is different from the generic, and Brave a lot. Oh wow, that went to sleep fast. Did that really go to sleep that quickly? Hang on. Okay, wow, that went to sleep really fast. I keep going to the wrong one. Okay, so, I mean, yes, it's a bigger screen. Give me some. Well, here, let's go to ESPN. So, I mean, yeah, it's bigger. I know that's like I'm a little underwhelmed. I have to admit. Now I'll use this, hard for a couple of weeks. Um, it's like the table layout. Yes, that you're right. That is what it is. Firefox with the add-ons is awesome. Yeah. Well, you block it, all that may stop working. We had that conversation in the other place. What happens when I close it? Oh, good question. Okay, so let's try that. Let's just try. Wow, look at that fold. Ooh, that makes me nervous. So it turns off the screen. But I'm assuming, yeah, so you can't just go to the smaller view. There's an extra couple of steps. And then let's see if we open this up again. I will say, there are some accessibility issues around opening this. Because there's not like a cutout or something to put your finger in. Like, it requires a level of manual dexterity that is kind of ableist. So, yeah, just saying. But yeah, it is definitely, actually that's a good, I'm going to bring up my tablet here and go to ESPN. I'm assuming the layout is going to look exactly the same. So let me try this. Yeah, okay, whatever. Go away. Give me Chrome, give me ESPN. So I'm just going to get to the top because I want to do a, well, that's interesting. Okay, hang on. Problem is I have this tilted and it keeps sliding off. Okay, don't break. But I want to get the tablet so I can show you. Well, it doesn't take calls right now because it doesn't have a phone number right now. Okay, so this is how the Pixel Fold looks, and this is how the tablet looks. So it is a little different because on the tablet, wow, this doesn't really fit here. I have to go up a little bit. Okay, so on the tablet, we've got more stuff, right? So we've got the stuff on the sides, right? So we've got some navigation on the side, so we've got some headlines on the side, which you don't have. Holy jeez, this just turns off at the drop of a hat. I'm guessing the battery's not so good. So it's a tablet layout, but it's not the same tablet layout as what you get on their tablet device. It's a different layout. Oh, it's almost like, so it's actually a closer match to using the tablet in portrait mode. You get that. That's pretty much the same layout then. So that's interesting. It's not the portrait one. You can probably change the sleeve size. Yeah, hopefully. Well, I'll let you know when I do a more in-depth. But so, yeah, out of the box, okay, yeah, I mean, it folds. I do see, like, I am completely distracted by the fold. Now, maybe that's because I'm a little obsessed about it. Look at that. Wow, that goes like nothing. But I can feel it. Like, you can feel the indentation for the fold. And I can see it when I'm looking at the page. Now, could I train my brain to ignore that? Probably. But I do see it, and I do feel it as I'm touching the screen. Like, as I move my finger across, I can definitely see it. Is it distracting? Well, right now it is. Right now it's completely distracting for me. It's distracting to look at, and it's distracting to feel. But like I said, the human brain, can be taught to ignore things. We do that all the time. Otherwise, our brains would explode because there's so much input around us. So could I learn to ignore that? Maybe. Probably, I guess, if I wanted to. But just again, cold reaction right out of the box, I'm still at meh, because it's just not, like, these things are distracting to me, and I'm just ADHD enough that it could be a long-term problem. Don't worry, like, yes, the color looks a little weird and all that. That's just because I'm on webcam. Let me see, if I hold it up for you on the regular camera, I don't know if that would be better color representation, but Again, it's going to be very washed out because the lights are so bright in here because I'm streaming. It is flat except for the camera. Actually, let's try the camera. Let me take a picture of Murphman. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to take a camera with it open. Then I'm going to see if I can take a camera with it in the other state. Oh, what a cute boy. Okay, so let me show you. So that's, whoop, go back to the other camera. That's the picture that I just took of Murphman with the camera, with the fold closed, and here it is with it open. So that is the same, which makes sense because the camera doesn't change. The camera, I know it's hard to see on this one. The camera is right here. But the quality is what you would expect. It's a nice picture. Like, I didn't do anything special to make it come up, but look at that face. He's such a good boy. So, I mean, that's sort of where I'm at with this, is out of the box, hitting it cold, not using it for anything real. I'll put some real apps on it. I will give it a test drive. But to me, it feels like not a tablet, right? So it's not as big as this, right? This would be hard to shove in my pocket. But does that mean that it's something that I want to pay all that money for? I'm not convinced. I'm still not convinced. I have to say I'm still not convinced. I have no problem with the weight of it. It's heavy, but that's okay. I sure as heck would want this to be sturdy as heck. I don't like, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but so this is the side that you have to open it on. And what you're naturally drawn to is using the buttons as like a lever to open it with, which to me seems like a bad idea because that's putting extra stress on the buttons. So not sure that I love that plan. Let's see. Is it trying to do too many things? So yeah, like I said, my whole thing with this has always been why? Like, why would you need this when you have other options, right? So basically, if I'm going to be doing anything on the fly, I wouldn't even grab the tablet. I would grab my Chromebook because then I have a fully functioning computer, right? And I happen to buy Chromebooks that have the stylus, so I have that option. And it connects to my phone, so it can get internet. Yes, if you're carrying this, you don't have to carry two devices. However, there's something that we'll touch on in a minute here, but it's not the same. Like, this is not, for me, this is not a Chromebook replacement. I wouldn't grab my tablet to go on the road with, so that's not an issue. Like, I have my tablet to do tablet things, like sitting on the sofa. Like, I love the tablet for doing photo editing using like all the magic tools that you get with Google Photos. Love that. I do have a stylus for that. That was an extra purchase. So it's completely intuitive for me. Like, I can sit on the sofa curled up with Murphy and do that kind of stuff and surf and do all that kind of stuff. But I mean, most of the time when I'm sitting at the sofa, I also have a real computer with me. So from that standpoint, I'm still not getting what the use case is for this. I mean, other than, you know, bragging rights. Hey, look, I've got a foldable phone. Okay. You know, if that works for you, go for it. You know, the tablet is the Google tablet. I've got the stand for it and all that kind of stuff. So I have that. Here, I can take a picture. Let me take a picture for you, since we're doing pictures. So I have it right here on my desk when I'm streaming because I can bring up, like, when I'm doing the gaming stream, I have it up, or if I'm, you know, got messages up, that kind of thing. So there's all that. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, let me put it, let's go at it from that point of view. Okay, there's nothing wrong with this. It's a functioning phone with a bigger screen. Give it all that. I just don't know that I need it. I don't know. I still don't understand the use case for this. Tech. It's almost like they needed it to curve to make it easier to open. I don't think so. I think and I'm just guessing here, but if you look at, I guess you see, if I'd gotten the lighter one, it would show up better, but I don't like light phones. You really can't. Can you see it better over here? Let me see. Yeah, you can see it better over here. Let me go back to the overhead. Okay, so what we're talking about is this curve here, but this is solid material here next to it. So I don't think they had to do that. Like, I don't think that there was any reason to do that on this outside one. Now let me pay more attention to what's on the inside. Yeah, see, again, I don't really, I think that was a choice. I don't think that was a need, because there's nothing that couldn't have, there's no reason why this couldn't have been squared off at the bottom. There's just no reason at all. It doesn't impact the opening and closing of it at all. So I'm not really sure why they did that. I think that was a style choice than anything. What stylus is that? The stylus I'm using for the tablet? This is Penoval. I actually did a show on this. I can get to the links if you're curious. But it's this one. I have another one. I tried two. I also have the Lenovo one. I find that the weight on this one is not as good. So this is Lenovo. Maybe this is better. I don't know. It's hard to see. So if you're curious, I mean, we're kind of off topic here a little bit, but they're not the same height, right? So this is the Lenovo one that's much shorter than the, I don't even know how to say this, Penoval. I don't like the balance on this one. So this is, it's heavier at the bottom and lighter at the top. This has a more even weight on it, which works for me. This one you charge via USB. This one has a battery in it. I don't really like either of those models because I'm spoiled by Wacom, where there's no charging, there's no battery in the stylus. But evidently they must still hold the rights to the technology because nobody else is using it. But yeah, so I have the two of them. I tried the two of them. It turned out I just liked one better than the other. But styluses do tend to be personal preference kind of thing. All in on the Google ecosystem. Well, the styluses are not. So Google does not sell a stylus for any of these devices. Does the glass protrude from the metal on the front? So a little bit. So like if I run my finger along here, it definitely, we're talking like micromillimeters, but yes, it is definitely raised off of the hinge here. And off of the rest of it. Let me see on the inside. Not so much on the inside. On the inside, it feels like the edge is above the screen. So that's interesting. In this mode, the screen is below the edge, and when it's closed, the screen is above it. That's an interesting choice. Good question. I thought there would be an official Google stylus. Okay, so for those of you who don't want to stick around for the rest of this conversation, thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I will come back and do another video on this after I have used it for a while, but I just wanted to kind of give you the cold react. It works. It's perfectly fine. It's functional. There's no problems with it. I'm not going to bother getting a case for it right now, but there are cases available. I have links in the description if you want to go and check those out. But for right now, I don't see this as a keeper in this moment. We'll see. I'll check back in a couple of weeks and let you know. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it. If you're new here, I didn't even introduce myself, but I do technology as my day gig. It's also my hobby. So that's why I do this show, because I know not everybody has somebody to talk to about technology. So that's why we're here every week, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. So feel free to cruise by, like, subscribe, do all those kinds of things. And that way you'll get notified about what's going on. If you have questions, if you want to reach out about anything, you can reach out to me on the website. There's a contact form there. Just make sure you give me an email address so I can get back to you. Okay. All right. So to get into this a little bit more, because yeah, you bring up the stylus. So my hope was that this was going to work with a stylus, because that would change it for me. Like if this worked with a stylus, that would be a game changer for me. However, everything I'm reading is telling me that that it won't work with a stylus. Now, let me be clear. So there's different levels of styluses. When I'm talking about stylus, I'm talking about a pointing device that does tilt, does pressure, all that kind of stuff. You can buy I call them pseudo styluses. There are styluses that you can get out there that have like a little rubber nub at the bottom, and all they're doing is they are mimicking the human finger touching. So it doesn't give you any more precise control. It doesn't give you anything special. It's just an extension. Now, it does serve a purpose, because one of the problems when you're doing this kind of stuff is when you're touching it, right, your hand is covering it. Whereas you're doing the same thing with a stylus, you can still see what you're doing, right? So that, for me, is one of the big reasons I love a stylus, because you're still able to see what you're doing. Your hand is not covering stuff all the time. So that said, you know, if this worked with styluses, that would be a good thing. Now, I'm going to, like I said, everything I've read says no, because it's not designed for that. The screen doesn't handle it. But I'm going to try my styluses to see. So let's, here, we'll just go back. Let me go back to the overhead. I don't expect anything to work here, but we're going to try it anyway, just so we can say. Okay, so the Wacom doesn't work. That doesn't surprise me. This is the Lenovo that I use with my Google tablet. Nothing. Doesn't know it exists. This is the Dell stylus for my Dell laptop. Make sure it's awake. Yep, not doing anything. And we'll try the Pentel that I use with the tablet. Again, nothing. I fully expected this. I looked. I used to have a bunch of those other ones around, but I probably have given them all away over time. And this. No, you don't need to pair. If a stylus is going to work, it's just going to work. So, and this is the one from my Surface Pro, and that doesn't work either. So that is a problem. I don't know why they made that choice, especially since the Google tablet does do stylus. So that, to me, like that, if this was a stylus device, even if I had to buy it from a third party, I'd be all over it. Now, let's talk about that for a second, because you will see when you do a search, if you do a search for Google Pixel Pro Fold, Google 9, I don't know, there's a 9 in there somewhere. But if you do a search for that and put the word stylus in, you're going to get results. But just be aware that it's not a true stylus. It's what I was calling a pseudo stylus before. So it is a stylus that works like your finger, but there's no tilt, there's no pressure, there's none of those extra things that you expect when you're using a stylus, if you're one of the people like me. So there's that. The other thing is, so there's an article, and I think I linked to it. I meant to link to it. If I didn't link to it, I will add the link. Let me look. I did not, but here I'll show it to you now. Let me just run through these real quick. Get this out of the way. Whoops. Here we go. So I gave you the link, so you can go and check it out. So you can get this on Google. This is for the 512, so that's why it's more expensive. You can get it on the store. And if you want to see all the specs and all that kind of good stuff, let me go back. The Google Store page has a lot of information about it, so you can go and check all that out. There is nothing here that would imply that you can use a stylus. Just to be clear, they didn't mislead anybody, but all that is here. If you want, cases, they've got different cases for it, so there's that. Let's see, what is this one? I don't know why I had this one here. I don't remember. But here, let's talk about this. So this article discusses the fact that there's no stylus, and that the reason the styluses don't work with it, even like the third-party ones, is because the screen is not aware of them, right? They're not using a screen. You have to have a special screen to work with a stylus. And so it's not there. That was a choice. This author actually talked to the Google people about it, and they're like, yeah, no. And this is the part that kind of melted my brain, because it's like, okay, I don't understand why we're putting out foldable devices. And the Google exec that this person talked to, what did he say? Seemed perplexed that I'd even want such a thing. He says, most digital artists use larger Wacom tablets. So that's probably a part of the problem, is that they don't get how we would use this device. And I don't get how you would use it without, or why you would bother. Because, this is a larger phone, and I can do the things. Now, it's not double wide, okay? but it does what I need it to. And when it doesn't, I have other device options. So I'm not sure what niche this is supposed to be filling. It's not filling them for me at the moment, but that is what it is. Let me see. What else did I want to say for the folks who stick around? Like, I really appreciate the people who stick all the way to the end. So I like to give you a little extra bonus here. So yeah, so that was it. It was the cases and the fact that no, it does not work with a stylus. It doesn't matter what stylus, but it will, if you, from an accessibility or preference standpoint, if you like, the finger replacement stylus type, there's probably a name for that. I had to go find that. That will work, right? Because it works on any touch screen. It doesn't need any special connectivity because it's not doing pressure, it's not doing tilt, it's not doing any of that kind of stuff. So digitizer support. Yeah, but there's probably a more generic one, right? There's probably a more generic name to it. Does the Samsung Fold support a stylus? I don't know. With Samsung, if it's called a Note device, then it probably should. Hang on, I'll go look. I got a couple minutes here. I don't think they sell them as Note devices, right? Let's see. One moment, please. No, I'm not seeing. Oh, well, this guy's got one in his hands. All right, here on. Let me bring the screen up. One sec. So I'm not sure. Oh, geez, stop. No. Website builders out there. Nobody wants notifications from your website through their browser. Nobody. Stop asking. Okay. Hang on. Let me switch over to this. So I was saying no because I wasn't seeing it push, but this guy does have a stylus in his hand. But like none of the other pictures show a stylus. So here, let me get this out of the way because that would be confusing. So let's look and see. There's nothing here. There's nothing in the promo pictures. Like usually if there's a stylus, like it's included in the glamour shot. So let's say, okay, if I go big, blue would be nice. Trade in options. So it doesn't specifically say anything. Why won't this just go away and stay away? Thank you. So, wait. S Pen supported. Yes, there you go. There's your answer. So it is S Pen supported. It may not come with it, but it's the fact that it says supported means that you probably have to get it. But that's a relatively easy thing. So yes, if you are like me and you are a stylus person and you aren't like, focused on Google Pixel, then I would suggest looking at the Samsung one because it does have the stylus. And like I said, I will use, I use that. Now let me, Murphy, don't get excited. I think I still have one here. This one, no. This one, no. Okay, so get it out still? Yeah, here we go. Okay. So just for comparison's sake, this is the S Pen. Go back to the overhead. Okay, so this is the S Pen. This is my Wacom. And here's the one I use on the Google tablet. So just for size comparison. Now, the reason that this is small is because it actually travels with the phone. So there's a compartment that you can put it into. Okay, but this is a real stylus. It used to be able to push on it, it would pop out, but that's over. It's got a control on it. So there's a button here. Some of them have a rocker, some of them it's just one. Some of them have a click here. This one doesn't. This is a much older Note device, but some of the newer ones had like a click here, so you could like click on it to like take a picture or whatever. And then it's got replaceable nubs on it. But it is, it's small because it's designed to travel with it. And then you can get larger S Pens like that won't fit in the little container. But yeah, so that would definitely be an option if you're doing it. And for that, I could see it, right? Because then like you could do like quick sketches, like if you were meeting with a client or whatever, you could do some quick sketches. If you're an artist, you could do drawings or edit photos and all that kind of stuff. So from that standpoint, like for that, maybe this, form factor works. But as a daily driver phone, from my point of view, right, there are going to be people, and I would love to hear from somebody, like feel free to jump into the comments and let me know if you're using a fold device, what is the use case for you that makes this such a rock star for you? Because there's got to be a use case out there for it, right? Somewhere out there, somebody's got a reason that they absolutely love this device, and I'm not aware of what that is at this point. So for what it is, there we go. So like I said, I'll probably go ahead and complete this test. So I'll go ahead later over the weekend, probably. I'm going to set it up on Google Fi, test it as a phone. Not that I do a lot of phone calls, but I'll have it as a phone. And I'm going to use it, for the next week or two hard. It's not going to be my daily driver. Like, I'm not replacing this phone at all. At least not right now. But I'm going to try it. I will come back. I will do a follow-up show so that I can give you my feedback based on that. But in this moment of time, I am leaning towards, no, I don't really need this. I think it's going to go back. It's fine. It's a lovely device. It's what I would expect it to be. I think you would ask something about actually, I'm going to pop out chat here, because the chat for you is kind of wonky. So I thought that you were asking. Let me just go back and look. Didn't you ask about? Now it's gone from my head. But I thought you would ask another question that I said, I got to get back to that. Oh, yeah. So yes, this definitely. I'm sorry. Let me go back to the overhead. Like the newer phone, all the newer phones, like the camera does stick out. It does protrude a lot. So yeah, you can see that it's sticking out on its own. Like it's adding extra depth to the overall case here. Now, I will say that when I, lay it flat, it's not really a problem. It's kind of propping up one side a little bit more than the other, but that's not bothering me as much as being able to see this fold. I am a little worried because it's very flat. So when you lay this down in the open state, which I would imagine a lot of the time you're going to be doing, I'm a little worried about that getting scratched. Oh, the other thing is you talked about doing a screen protector. So most of the cases that I'm seeing do put a screen protector on. Personally, I'm not a fan of those. They piss me off most of the time. But because I don't have one on my regular phone, I usually get a case that has. Sorry. It's to sleep. So on this, what I do is I get cases where the case is a little bit above, so that helps protect the screen. But I don't like the screen protectors. They just annoy me. But that, again, that's a personal choice. Okay. Okay. Yeah. There you go. That was the screen protector. Was the other thing. Let's see what else. Tech. The only thing is maybe for requesting desktop version websites on the bigger screen. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Like I said, there's probably use cases for it. I do that. Like, that's my default setting on this. I prefer the desktop. Oh, our groceries are being delivered. Sorry, the dog's going to be excited for a minute. I do that automatically on this, and most of the time it just works for me perfectly. Sometimes I have to zoom in or out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, for somebody with reduced vision, like there might, but that's where like the accessibility thing kicks in. So like, yes, from an accessibility standpoint, could you make things bigger on the screen? Yes, you have more screen real estate to work with. Absolutely. But that said, the fact that like it's wonky to open, like if you don't have, like I'm having to use my fingernails to really get in there. If I'm trying to not use the buttons as leverage, it's not an accessible open. It's not for anybody who has any fine motor controls. This is not going to be easy. And so that kind of defeats the point of the fact that the bigger screen has some accessibility pros to it. So yeah, there we go. It's sort of a back and forth thing. Tech, hey, feel free, ask all the questions you want. I'm good with that. Tech, usually I get them in case of sand in pockets and stuff. They micro scratches. Yeah, that's true. What do you think of the Surface phones? Are they still selling? I thought they stopped selling those. I thought they had. I've never used a Surface phone. I've had them in my hands. I've tested them there. But yeah, the whole Microsoft phone thing, that did not go well. They did not get that the attention it should have, and they bailed on it pretty quickly. They did, but they were fold. Yeah. So, like I said, like I just like I know like Fold is like the new Bluetooth, right? Bluetooth. Oh my God, they wanted Bluetooth and everything. I kid, what, but I'm not. When I say like they wanted Bluetooth in your socks and in your hats and on your dog, like Bluetooth did not need to be everywhere, but that was the big buzzword. Everybody had to have Bluetooth. Everything had to have Bluetooth, and that's kind of died off now because Bluetooth is, again, it's got a use case, but it's a very small use case. This to me is just it feels very us too. But oh, you know what? I didn't try. Here, let me. Do I have to open it flat in order to open it? Probably. Okay, because supposedly, no, I don't want notifications. Hang on, I can't share the clients. That's not okay. Okay, so in the images, they showed this. I'm gonna have to go flat with this. Bring this up. So this is interesting because in the images, they showed it in this mode for like watching, and it showed something up on the screen, and then it showed a keyboard here. But I'm not getting that. Let me see if I do this. It's so weird that like every time you close it, it doesn't just automatically transfer that to the other screen. Now I can't, again, I'll have to test this offline because well, I guess I could show my own stuff, right? Yeah, well, here, we're live, so we can go ahead. Okay, I really don't need the audio. Let's just freeze that. Okay. Okay, so I've got, I know it's a little hard to see, but I've got the video is up here, and then the chat is down here. So it's not like it's behaving differently at a different angle. Oh, jeez. See, and this is like, I just hit the, yeah, this is not. Ugh. This is just, it's not an intuitive, friendly, smart design. Like, I feel like everything I'm doing is going to make it fail. All right, I'm not putting my pin in. Can you fold it all the way back? Oh, now that kept going. That's annoying. Hang on. Stop talking, me. Stop talking. Shut up. Shut up. There we go. Okay, so now Tech really wants to push it. Can you fold it all the way back? No, you can't. So this is a hard stop. When you get this flat, that's it. It doesn't go any farther. I'm not going to push it really hard. I mean, I could snap it in two, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah, the demo pictures I saw of it in this mode where like you've got a screen here, but you can type here. I will do more research. I will beat on it. I will test it. But by default, it's not doing that. So I'm not sure what that meant. It might have just been marketing hype. Hello, I meant you can do that with the surfaces. Okay, that's interesting. Let me go back here. Yeah, they were different concepts of folding because they were basically a bar in the middle with two separate screens. Yeah, right. I mean, the very first ones were really two different phones almost that were just sort of hooked together. But yeah, this one is just, it's like I said, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't know that I need to be paying almost $2,000 for this because I don't think I need it. I don't think it's going to give me anything extra. I'm not coming up with anything that I can't do on this. So we'll see. I will absolutely get back to you and let you know, but in the moment, this is where we are. It's here, it works, it's fine. Every time I open it, I will say that in the back of my brain, I go, well, that's one less time I'll be able to do that. Like, it feels like there's this hidden counter someplace that at some point you're going to keep doing that and it's just going to fail. Probably not. I mean, at this point, maybe they've got that all worked out with the fold thing. Definitely not hearing, like when the first fold phones came out, there was a lot, like people were very excited. You know, all of us geeky people ran to get it. Not all. I didn't. I don't know if Tech did. But very quickly it was failing. You know, they were having trouble with the fold part of it, all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure that this is more stable than that. Okay, so we're just going to show you this now because now I'm noticing this. So I have it in this, you know, clamshell approach, but because of the camera lens is here, it's not stable. So it's like I can put my finger under here. Can you see that? Yeah. So like I can put, okay, the stylus is a little bulky. Let's try, here, I've got this little screwdriver here. So, wow. So I can slide this. This is, fairly good size. That's where I first hit resistance. So that's where I'm hitting probably the camera. Um, this is not laying flat in this mode. Now, if I trade it and do it this way, maybe that's okay. So this way it's flat, but if you lay it down, and the phone is there, then that's going to be definitely a problem. Like the idea of the crease would drive me crazy. Yeah, I do think that the crease is going to bother me. Now, that said, in the fold, oh, Jesus, but this wants to go to sleep in like 2 seconds. The fact that the image does go across, because in the beginning there was a break between images, like in the early days, but, now you can see that the image is going all the way across. So I definitely give them points for that. They've clearly been working on this. They're trying to get this right. And I applaud them for that. I'm just not sure why we should care. I mean, I know that sounds harsh, but I honestly don't know why we should care. I don't know why, and I don't know. I mean, they must be selling them. They're putting money into R&D on these. They're coming out with new ones. It is more expensive to have two different form factors, right? So they've got to do production lines for the two different things, right? Your regular phone and now this. These are completely different problems that they're solving. And I'm just looking at it because I'm like, are they reusing the screen? Maybe, but the screen is definitely smaller. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. Let me try to get some of the dust off of there. I don't know if you'll be able to tell. Let me take this away. Let me try to make this apples to apples as much as I can. Okay, so this is the new one, and this is definitely not as tall as my Pixel 8 Pro. So I don't think they're reusing this screen. And obviously the folded screen, that's a whole different problem. So yeah, we'll see. Is it as big as a regular model? Well, that's what I'm saying. So it's actually a little smaller than my Pixel 8. Here, I can do this. Let me do this on the overhead. Maybe that'll show better. Okay, so if I line up the tops, now yes, this does have a case on it, but that's not really what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that this one, here we go. Sorry. This is at a funky angle. So this is my regular phone. This is the fold. And this is definitely, you know what? It's my pasty white skin is probably throwing off the color. But this is definitely shorter than this one is. And from a width standpoint, they're ballpark. They're pretty much the same width, but it's definitely not as tall as my regular phone is. Does that help? Yes. So that my daily driver right now is the Pixel 8 Pro or Pixel Pro 8. I never know where they put the number. Because the curve is massive. Yeah, I mean, the curve is definitely bigger than it is on my regular phone. I don't know how much that's really gonna bother me, but we'll tell. We will tell in time. I'm not on. Okay, let me. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that, I don't know how much stuff is ever really in the corners of that, but again, different things are going to bother different people. So yeah, or regular 9 now. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, I don't replace my phone every year. I usually hold off at least 2 years. Sometimes I'll go 3 or 4, depending on the financial situation and what's going on in the tech market. But this one is definitely not. Now, it's been an expensive week because I just indulged on something else, which we'll get into. But those of you who know my love of The Remarkable, I swore to myself I wasn't going to do it, and I did. So we'll talk about that in another show. But I have to go get my groceries because they're probably melting out there now. I think it's a different display entirety. That's my guess right now. I can compare it. I have a couple of other phones in here. Other older Pixel phones, so I'll compare it against other Pixels just to see if there's another screen. But I have a feeling that this is its own production completely. It just seems like it's even see, like the camera is different now. This is probably maybe the model that they're using for the Pixel 9s. I have to go look at that. But on the 8, the cameras look like that. So there you go. For what it is, cold out of the box. This is what we have. I will let you know in a couple of weeks what the experience is like and whether or not I'm going to keep it. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I really appreciate it. Those of you over on Twitch, yes, we'll be playing games later, but we have to take care of the groceries and feed both of us first. So we will talk about that later. But again, if you have any questions, if you have comments, feel free to share them, whatever platform you're working on, or if you want to reach out, you can always find me there. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. I hope you're having a good start to your fall season. I know everybody's going back to school, not happy about that, but you know, it is what it is. And we will get together later. So have a good one. Yes, Tech, I will see you later. Bye, everyone.